Hello and thank you for watching or listening to my MND Guy's Life, which is a short episode presented and narrated by myself, Guy Williams. I have motor neuron disease, which progressively wastes away my muscles all over my body, meaning everything I try and do, which involves any movement, becomes more and more difficult as I become weaker and weaker. MND also speeds up my metabolism, meaning I have to consume far more calories and food than I did before just to maintain my current weight. MND also depletes my energy levels, meaning I become exhausted when doing even simple tasks. All of this means that literally everything and anything I do is extremely difficult, except that is for sleep, because I now have to sleep OS far more than I did before MND took over my life. My neural capabilities are thankfully not diminished, as I need my brain working to manage my help MND Guy return to Carrot Road appeal, which is the fundraiser to raise money for MND Guy, because living with MND is very expensive. The exoskeleton robot legs, which can replace the muscles in my legs to enable me to leave my third floor flat, and enable me to walk, and will release me from this isolation to be able to start living again. These exoskeleton robotic legs cost £120,000. I also need assistance to shop for food and care for myself, and the tools and products I need to live will only become more and more expensive as my muscles weaken further. MND prevented me from working. I have no money, so I'm appealing to everyone watching or listening to this to please donate to my MND Guy, help MND Guy return to Carrow Road appeal. The crowdfunding campaign. Please share my GoFundMe page and videos. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know how precious time is. I hope you enjoy this episode of MND Guy's Life, as it's taken a lot of time, effort and thought to bring you this video. And please do leave any comments, as I love any feedback. It really does help to improve my MND Guy's life. So, enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to MND Guy's Life. This is a series of short episodes presenting the events which changed my life from being an active, fit and healthy person to today being a human with a body ravaged by motor neuron disease. Over the coming episodes, I will show you the person I was and what led to me being diagnosed with MND, and how it's changed my life dramatically as I descended into isolation and depression during a very dark time in my life, as I struggled to cope with my new reality. This series will also praise how the love and support of my disparately located friends and family helped me to come through the darkness into a more positive mindset, and how the wonderful local neurology team and professionals provided me with the essential care, support and practical solutions to help me deal with the difficult daily challenges which MND sufferers have to overcome every day, and especially for me, living on my own in a third floor flat. Future episodes will also be providing you with updates to show you how by donating and sharing my Help MND Guy Return to Carrow Road appeal, the fundraiser and your donations will open the door for me to walk away from debilitating and isolating muscle loss, to enjoy reconnecting with family, friends, and to once again enjoy socialising, dancing, walking in nature, and of course to return to live football at Carrow Road to watch my beloved Norwich City. I've also purchased a head camera which will enable me to show you directly from my point of view what my daily life is like, because I face challenges with everything because I live on my own, and I want you to see how difficult life is for me with weakened hands and not being able to grip things and not being able to open packets and bottles and struggling to bend over and struggling to get up and struggling to walk, struggling to get changed and put on shoes and to shower and to groom myself. Everything is difficult. So this head camera will be able to show you exactly what it's like. So I'll be showing you elements of my day and how certain tools and techniques have enabled me to carry on living. And also, I will be telling you stories from my Norwich City Football Club days as a supporter to lighten the mood a bit and hopefully provide you with some interesting stories as well. So I will continue to talk about these things, and for now, let's move on to episode 1. So for episode 1 of MND Guy's life, I will take you through the events which led up to my diagnosis for MND, and that includes a trip to Carrow Road, a trip to A&E, some pretty strong pain medication, and how the symptoms of MND started and how they developed through to my diagnosis with MND. And that will be the content for episode 1. Also, I want to apologise in advance for any mistakes and ums and pauses in this episode and future episodes, because MND has deteriorated my ability to speak, and sometimes I can speak okay and other times the words just don't come, or I pronounce them incorrectly, or something else. So I just want to pre-warn you that the delivery of this in my voice may well have some mistakes. So having said that, I'm going to tell you about the story which led to my diagnosis of MND. So the start of this story is from Boxing Day 2021, and as usual I was in Norwich for Christmas with my family, and I think I've only missed one, maybe two Christmases with my mum and dad, and I think one was during lockdown and another was maybe MND related. So I've been there almost religiously for all of my 48 years of life. And on this particular Boxing Day, I was at home with my mum and dad, or should I say their home in Sproston, Norwich. And with us was my sister Liz and her three kids, my nieces and nephew. And I think my other sister Becky and her husband Brendan and kids were on holiday that year, having some winter sun. So on the Boxing Day, if Norwich are at home, we're there. So me and my mum and dad have got season tickets in the lower Barclay, just behind the goal and probably 12 or 13 rows back. I just sing all game, and I sing if no one else is singing because I get behind the team. So I digress. On this Boxing Day, me, my mum, and dad were getting the Sanders football special number 11 to the ground, and it picks us up from a bus stop about 10 minutes walk away and drops us just behind the south stand. And from there, we just walk round to the Barclay to take our seats. Well, seats, we stand all game. And that's better for singing and making noise. So anyway, on this particular Boxing Day, Norwich were at home to Arsenal. I think it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. So me and my mum and dad generally get the bus to the game, and we go for a drink or two and some food afterwards. And on this Boxing Day, we were getting the Sanders football special number 11, which takes us from 10 minutes up the road, walk to the ground. And as we walked from mum and dad's home, we were getting wet because it was a cold, wet, and windy December day, which is pretty normal for the UK. Well, it can be pretty normal in summer as well, but certainly in December. As we started walking up the road, it was about 1:45. I was checking my phone for any sort of team news before the lineups came out at 3 o'clock. And as I went with checking my phone, my glasses were getting wet. I couldn't see the screen, so I took my glasses off and put them in my pocket and kept the phone in my hand. And as we started walking up the road, we got a few hundred yards away from the stop, and we could see the Sanders bus coming up to the stop in the distance. And it's the only bus on Boxing Day. Public transport isn't on. Boxing Day is not a day to get a taxi. And my dad didn't want to drive, even though sometimes he does, which is understandable Boxing Day, because it's actually easier sometimes to get this bus. But as we saw it in the distance, we weren't going to get there in time. So I knew this was the only way to get to the football this day. So I absolutely ran for it. I sprinted, I legged it, and I had my dad behind me shouting, "Run, guy, run! Run, guy, run!" So I sped up and tried to run more quickly. And after a little while, I could feel myself going over. And as I went over, I put down my left hand to stop me stop my head hitting the floor, but it buckled underneath me, and my shoulder hit the ground hard, and then my head hit the ground, and I kind of bounced from the pace and hitting the ground, I kind of call it E equals mg squared. So the normal equation is energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. E equals mc squared. And I actually changed it to E equals mg squared, which is energy equals the mass times the speed of guy squared. So that speed that I was going at and the energy had consequences because I was in agony immediately, probably more pain than I've ever experienced. I lie there on the floor and my mum and dad caught up with me, and as I lie there, they helped me up, and I then had a choice. Do I go to the football or should I just stay at home? Well, for me, there was no choice. I was going. But my mum and dad tried to persuade me that I looked injured and shouldn't really go. But I decided I was going. So I got my wallet out of my pocket to pay the bus driver, and holding my arm close to me and getting on the bus was so painful. And me, my mum and dad sat on the side seats looking sideways. I was next to my dad, and every jolt of the bus and every bump and brake just touched my arm into his or moved it slightly, and the pain from it was unbelievable. It just shattered through me. But I got there and I was grinning and bear it. This is one of my Norfolkisms. I say the word bear, and bear, whether it's a grizzly bear, whether it's a pint of beer, or whether it's grin and bear it. It's something I've never been able to change. Growing up in Norfolk, you pick up these phrases, and that's just how I say it. Even before MND, that's how I said it. So anyway, I was just putting on a brave face, and we got off the bus behind the South Stand and walked round to the Barclay to then take our seats or stand in the Barclay to watch the game. So that year I was sat next to a lady called Denise who shared her seat with her daughter. So sometimes she was there and sometimes the daughter was. And as fate would have it, she actually had paracetamol in her bag. So she gave me a couple, and I must admit it did a little, but didn't really curb the pain at all. But I did appreciate it and thanked her for it. Something I am thankful for, though, is there was fewer people on my row than normal. Normally, it's packed in the Barclay, and there isn't a spare seat. And on my row, there are a few big, wide blokes, just big built blokes, and it's normally a squash, as in we're pressed together and shoulder to shoulder, and that would have been absolutely terrible for my shoulder and the pain that was there. But luckily, on this Boxing Day, my row was almost empty, just me and a few people. So I could stand there and not get jolted about. And the thing is, with that, if Norwich had have scored, I would have normally been in trouble. You know, people jump around and bash about and stuff in celebration without really thinking about who's around them. If that was happening, then I don't even want to imagine what it had done to my shoulder. Anyway, that wasn't concerning in the end because Norwich lost 5-0 to Arsenal and weren't really in the game. I don't really remember much of the game. I just remember the pain. So after the game, me and my mum and dad got the bus back, the number 11 Sanders football special, back to Roxham Road, and we walked home. And as soon as I got in the house, my sister Liz saw me and saw me holding my arm across my chest, and she realised I'd broken it. She's a first responder in the NHS, so she knows her stuff. I didn't know I'd broken it at that point, but she did, and she called 111 and described what was happening. And of course, they said to come to A&E at the Norfolk and Norwich Hospital, and my dad drove me there with my mum. I don't think he hadn't had a drink. We certainly didn't go for a drink after the game. And when we got to A&E, luckily it was really quiet and there wasn't many people about at all. But I was then taken through to have an X-ray, and what happened next was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. They looked at me and checked my clothing, and they said that there was something metallic in the Norwich shirt I was wearing, either in the sponsor's badge on the front or something, but they said they had to cut it off me. I was like, you are not cutting my Norwich shirt off me. So I tried to pull my arms above my head to take the shirt off, and the pain almost made me pass out. It was beyond anything. Oh, blimey, just think about it now. I remember how painful it was. So I took the Norwich shirt off without it being cut off me and had the X-ray, and they showed me that I had a zigzag break across my humerus, which apparently the power and the energy and force of me putting my left hand down to stop me went straight up my arm and fractured the humerus across it, which is where I get the energy equals the mass of guy times the speed of guy squared, because my weight and speed broke my arm, and my shoulder had shattered. And that's where all the pain came from. But there was nothing they could do on Boxing Day, so they sent me home with pain medication and booked an appointment for New Year's Day to have an operation. So he sent me home with a sling, and the next 3 or 4 days in between Christmas and New Year, I was just in serious pain for all of it. And going to sleep was impossible because I couldn't lie on each side, and just the pain kept me awake. So I hardly got any sleep for those 4 or 5 days, or 6 maybe. And I had to go back to the NNN on New Year's Eve, and I had an operation to fix my arm and shoulder. Oh, blimey. So I had the operation on New Year's Eve, and this is a photo of me with a nice arrow to my left shoulder, so they don't make a mistake and open up the wrong shoulder, I guess. And so anyway, the operation was a success apparently, and they showed me x-rays of what they did afterwards, and I've basically now got, well, I had a metal plate, 14 screws and wires in my shoulder to hold the bone back together and the shoulder back together. And I found out a while afterwards from a physio in Nottingham when I showed him the x-rays that I've just showed you, that he said it was absolute mastery. He couldn't believe how well they'd done to fix my shoulder, because he said 10 years ago they would have just lopped the top off my humerus and the shoulder and replaced it. And they managed to save it. And now my shoulder is pretty much okay. It aches a little bit sometimes, but I've since had the metalwork taken out earlier this year, and I've now got really good mobility with my shoulder. Mobility as in without MND, but my mobility generally is really poor at the moment. But I'll get into that in future episodes. What I will just say for now is the hospital gave me dihydrocodone, which is an opioid-based pain medication to manage the pain, and it does work. It doesn't get rid of it completely, but it did null it, and which allowed me to sleep not on that side, but allowed me to actually get some sleep, which was a relief. But the dihydrocodone has side effects and implications, which I'll get into in episode 2 of MND Guy's life. But for now, I'll also get into the symptoms that led to my diagnosis of MND. And the reason I'm including this story in the MND Guy's life is because the dihydrocodone and its effects fooled me about what the symptoms I were experiencing from MND were happening and why they were happening. But that's for episode 2. So for now, thank you for watching MND Guy's life. I hope that was at least a little bit interesting, and there's far more to come, so please continue to watch, and I'll try and post more episodes for you. And if you can, please donate and share my fundraiser on GoFundMe. It's Help MND Guy Return to Carrow Road Appeal, and I'm raising money because MND is very expensive. It requires, I can't really work because it exhausts me, and I can't get about either. And my legs are so weak that I can't walk far. I can walk 10 yards, but any further I fall over and hit the floor hard. And it's very, very difficult having MND. But I've found solutions. I've found these exoskeleton robot legs which attach to my body, and they will give me freedom and mobility. I'll be able to go out and get down the stairs and get a train to Norwich and see my family and go to the football and all the things I can't do at the moment. So please donate to my campaign, because I'm looking to raise at least £120,000. I've had a really good start in terms of donations so far, but I need everyone who watches and listens to these podcast episodes to donate to the campaign, and please share it, because that is equally as important. Share it via email and via your social media accounts, But for now, because I'm getting really tired, I can hear my voice being more challenged, I'm gonna leave it for today, and I'll see you in episode 2. I've been Guy Williams, and this has been MND Guy's Life. Thank you for watching, and much love. Bye for now.